There I was, face first on the cold hard tile, a newly cracked tooth from the impact in a warm, unconscious body. How did I get here? Well, let's go back to the 80s.
This is Rick and Tanya's We Did It party.
This is where I started, in Arkansas, in a double-wide trailer, Rick and Tanya Stillman, two of the strongest people I know, fighting all odds since the 80s. Now, here's a crazy story. My parents met and then got married just 2 weeks later and have been together ever since. That is fighting the odds. They carried on. 1992, that's when I showed up. My mom's greatest prank. That's what my dad always said. Now, we were all navigating the waters, finding balance amongst the waves just fine until a new storm capsized this ship. Our entire world went upside down.
Check a dollar.
A broken back, hospital beds, my discovery of special needs brothers, a now single income household with 3 kids, just trying to make it. My dad had lost everything, and my mom had shifted all of her wants and needs just to support us. Now, being so young, I had no idea that what I was experiencing wasn't normal. I loved sitting in our living room with my dad in the hospital bed. I had the best view of aunts and uncles and cousins shooting off fireworks, all without the noise. It wasn't like all the families on TV, but my parents did whatever they could to help me not notice the nuclear bomb that was our family. I grew up watching my dad play music. He had always played in bands growing up and would still continue to sit and play through the pain. I grew up watching my grandmother play the guitar anytime we'd go down the road to her house. And I'm telling you, I grew up in Arkansas. Our whole family lived about a mile from each other. And Grandma's was home base. Lunch every Sunday. Y'all would have been invited. And my dad never held me back from the thing I loved most, music and dreaming. I was born with it in my blood. No matter our financial situation, my dad made sure that I was a dreamer. He'd always find a way to buy me toys. And I remember him telling me, the reason I buy you toys is because you have to learn how to dream. If you're not dreaming, then what are you gonna do? So, there I was, my foundations, dreaming and music. Now, when Wednesdays and Sundays came around, I was kind of a Christian. From spaghetti nights and playing outside with my cousins to sleeping in pews on Sundays and wishing I was a drummer, all while hitting the hymnals with sticks, creating noise. So, if that counts, I grew up kind of Christian. Around this time, I started to make sense of my family. I remember the day I outgrew my oldest brother. I remember asking, why is Mom so busy? Why is she not home? Why did my older brothers have such a hard time in life? One couldn't comprehend and one couldn't go out in public spaces. Why am I not like them? Fast forward a few years, I needed out. I'm 12 years old. I realize that I'm different. I don't fit in. Can anyone see me? And at some point, that shockwave of a nuclear bomb reached me. It struck me to my core. I finally felt the weight, but I wasn't ready. I just wanted to be a kid. So, I fought against the tide that would inevitably rise over my head. I turned to music. I started playing in bands, getting dropped off with my gear to just go make some noise. I started diving into the scene. I started diving in with the wrong people, though. This all led up to my big signal flare for attention. I got arrested. I was 12 years old. I was a follower. I ended up with 4 misdemeanors, luckily not tried as an adult. But it was in this moment I had all eyes on me, finally. The furious love of my parents. This is the first time I saw God, but I didn't realize it then. The way that my parents loved me through this moment would later come back in such a beautiful way. No matter how bad I messed up, my parents made sure to let me know that they still loved me and that they wouldn't stop loving me. They reminded me every day, be a leader, don't be a follower. You are loved and we will always love you. And though being a kid that is now having to start working to pay off my debts, this didn't stop me. It had only begun more trouble. Now I had money, and I could afford trouble. I just couldn't get caught until I was 18 and my record was clean. I had only started to fall deeper into the dark abyss of myself. More shows, more attention, parties, drugs, drinking. I didn't stop. Eventually, my band got a record deal when I was 16. I dropped out of school after 10th grade and started touring. And I finally moved to Texas, left my parents' house, and went on with my band when I was 17. And everything just started to get worse. I started having massive panic attacks. I was deeply depressed. And also, I found out recently that I had a heart condition. I was living my dream while on 2 antidepressant pills, 1 anxiety pill, ADD pills, and a pill for my heart, amongst all the drugs and drinking. I was numbing. I was making myself alone. I was making it to where I could not listen, I could not receive any hope. And for someone living their dream, I was oddly sad and alone. I started locking myself in my room. I started hating my best friends, and I started hating me. So, one night, home alone, I walked into the bathroom, and right as I went through that doorway, I was thrown to the ground. Crisscross applesauce, everything went black, and I heard one thing before I went down. It was the mightiest whisper saying, "You are mine." And then I blacked out. My face slammed the cold tile floor. I cracked my front tooth in half and my body was on fire. I woke up in terror. The first thing I did, I ran to the wall in my bedroom and put my back against it to cool off. Was this the voice of God? Was this some demon? Was this my guilt coming after me? No. That was the voice of God. The God I heard about all throughout my childhood. The God I hated, the one I ran from and denied. The God I didn't want, wanted me. He wanted me. The next day, I left everything behind. I packed up my car with what I could fit, and I went back home to Arkansas. I tripped and fell into my parents' grace once again. I gave up what I thought was my dream because inside me I knew there was something better, much bigger, and much greater than anything I could ever do. God. About a year after this moment, on August 11th, I gave my life to Christ. I was baptized in the back of a pickup truck in a garden center parking lot in downtown Little Rock. Now, in all of creation, in everything that happens, I hear Him whisper His great love constantly. Yes, I still struggle. Yes, I still have bad days, but I walk in thankfulness, genuine curiosity of where His love will lead me next.